Hello everyone and welcome to DIY D365. In today's episode, we will look at how to plot multiple points on a map. Map is not a specific, so I'm not talking about Bing Maps or Google Maps. At the end, it's going to be Bing Maps although. But the important thing is, as you can see on the left-hand side of my screen, you can plot your customers on a map and see all your customers or all your contacts, or let's say all your appointments in a suburb, area, region, state, whatever. So we will look at that right after the intro. Alright, so here we are. Let's begin the process. So there are two bits to it. One is the Power BI. So yes, as you can guess from the screenshot, Power BI and Power Apps, I'm going to combine both and see what are the results. There's a reason I'm doing it, and that's the no-code monkeys, because there's no easy solution for people who don't know so much programming or code or APIs and things like that. And that's where I'm going to benefit Power BI and use it in Power Apps. So let's see how we can do that. Along with that, in this video, there's also dynamic filters. That's what I'm going to explain. Other than that, if you think about Power BI tile in Power Apps, it's pretty easy to put in, but dynamic filtering is something which might interest you. So let's look at what is the issue first. God. Okay, so here are the issues. So first of all, there is no such component called map component within Power Apps. And when I say Power Apps, I'm not talking about model-driven apps. I'm only talking about Canvas apps. For model-driven apps, it is available through custom things like programming or whatever. They can put in an iframe and populate a map on the dashboard, or they can buy an add-on called Maplytics, which is quite popular and it's really good for model-driven apps. But for Canvas apps, it's not there. So what can we do? By the way, this is going to be the fastest way you can plot all your customers on a map within Canvas apps, so stay tuned. As I said, there are no map components. You can only use static maps, be it Google or Bing, and that too is by inserting an image. So you basically insert a component called image, and within that you provide some sort of URL which shows you a glimpse of the map based on whether you've used Bing Maps or Google Maps. API is required, so before you can do that, you need to actually go to Bing Maps portal or Google Maps dev portal somewhere to generate an API and keep it, and there are licensing or things like that as well, unless and until you're using it for just dev test. Okay, along with that, when we talk about, even though you might have inserted a Bing Map static image within your Canvas app, when it comes to showing pushpins, you can do it with the lat long you've got, but you have to hard code it. The other way which you can find is to incorporate coordinates in your formula would be that you use the formula called location.latitude and location.longitude, which again is just for you or your location. So that's one pushpin, not multiple, not two, not three. Even if you want to show more than one pin, there's an example on docs.microsoft.com. It shows you 2 and 5, and the formula clearly hard codes all the coordinates of all these 5 locations. So it's not dynamic, and that's where we're going to talk about dynamic filters. So that's where my next point says you cannot apply dynamic filters on your maps. Okay, the next one is, what do you need to be able to achieve the solution? You need to have access to Power Apps. Obviously, you need to have access to Power BI as well, and that to both desktop and web version. Okay, you need to have super basic knowledge on, when I say super basic, I meant minimum knowledge of how to create a report or a chart or a tile or a dashboard on Power BI, and that's super easy, and we will cover that as well. If I cannot cover it to the full extent, you can go to the blog post of this video, and I provided all the steps for you to be able to follow it and do it. Then you need to obviously have some basic understanding of Power Apps formula. There's no such understanding called basic understanding of Power Apps formula. As long as you know Excel formulas, you'll be able to achieve it, because this platform is quite prompt and it keeps on telling you use this and that. For example, logic, source, test result, and so basically it keeps on prompting you, this might be your next step, and which is great. Now the fifth thing, which I mentioned here, that whatever table you're picking, are you picking all your customers or contacts or appointments, the record must have latitude and longitude within there, and that too populated. And if not, you can use Power Automate, run it on all your records and generate lat long based on whatever address is filled there. So that's easy as well. You can go and search on Power Automate and you'll get a flow template possibly. If it is blank, then your records would not be shown on the maps. Now this video is Canvas apps and Dynamics 365 or CDS. I'm only talking about these two platforms. If the solution was possible in SharePoint, like not this, basically what I meant that you can show SharePoint lists on a map on Canvas apps via Bing Map or the image component, etc. I'm not sure of that, but I haven't seen it. Basically how I came up with this idea, there was some work related thing and I was supposed to do this and I couldn't, like there was no solution available online. So I thought, well, let me try the simple way. So I'm doing this. So those are your prerequisites and solution. Power BI and Power Apps to the rescue. Okay, quickly moving on to Power BI desktop. So all you need to do is download the Power BI desktop. Now don't think that my system is a MacBook and it's not available for MacBook. I've also got a parallel machine where I've installed Windows, so that's how I can access that. So the first thing you need to do it, again, I'm telling you, go to my blog, all these steps are there. So you need to first of all connect your desktop to a source, wherein you will go here and you will then go more, and then you will go to, let it open, online services, then Dynamics 365, and you'll hit connect. As soon as you'll do that, it will ask you for a URL, and that URL is actually this one on your Dynamics 365. Go to settings and then customization and then developer resources, and the web API thing, just copy it and paste it to your connection URL thing, which pops up. Okay, after you've done that, it will ask you for your credentials. So use the same credentials as your Dynamics 365 one, and it will connect. Once you've done that, it will ask you to select a table. So you'll basically select account, contact, appointments, or wherever, in whichever table you think there's lat long available. So you'll select that, right? Once you've done that, you click here, which is reports, and so these are reports. This is where your data is from the tables, and this is where you do the relationship between multiple tables. So if you have selected both account contacts, then you'll relate them, or if you want to just play with their relationship modeling, you can do that. So what I've done here is I've simply picked up this. So I think there are 3 different types of maps available. One is this, and then there is this one, filled map, and then there is this one, ArcGIS maps for Power BI. I haven't used these two. I've just used this. This is simple enough. And what I've done then is dragged my latitude under here and dragged my longitude under here, and legends, I have said name of the account. So that's why you see my chart like this. Now this is pretty simple. You might face this issue that you can see the sum or aggregation. So you'll have to, when you do that, you'll have to click here. You'll basically see it as, so for example, let me do it. So if I put this thing here, you will see it will say average of address to latitude. So all you need to do is click there and say don't summarize. Once you hit that, it will show you address 1 latitude instead of average of, and your chart would be visible to you. I'll go back to my original data and put it here and say don't summarize. Okay, all good. And we have got this. So this bit is done. Once you've done this, you will hit save. After saving it, you will hit publish. Okay, this is quite simple, save and publish, and that's what you do everywhere. Now, what we are going to do, these are step 1 to 7 on my blog, I guess. So after you've done that, you'll go to your existing Power App, or you will go to, or you'll create a new Power App. Okay, I'm missing one step, which is basically once you have created this chart, you will see, where is that? All right. Okay. I don't know where is pin to visual. Oh, that's because I haven't published it, have I? Save. Okay, so basically one step which I was missing is that you need to save it. So once you hit save, this will pop up and then you hit publish. I've done publish directly, so let me just do and hit save. Now it will try to save it and publish it at the same time. Right, now it asks me to select a destination. Now this is because it is the first time I'm saving it. So select a destination. I will say my workspace and select, and it will do it. So that's all right. And once you do that, it will then appear to you under, when you go to my workspaces, then you've got these 3 tabs. You click on reports, it will appear here. Now, if I click here, right, let me go back. Okay, so you see this button. That one did not show it because it's already marked. So pin visual, this is important. You do pin visual, right? This is an important step, I'm telling you, otherwise your formulas wouldn't work. So after you've done that, you go to your Power Apps, you create a new Power App. I've already done that, but for you, I'll do it again. So basically, if I delete, let me just do that, Control AC, or the best way would be to do it on top. So just imagine this is a blank screen and you go to chart and you go Power BI tile. Now you select your workspace. I'll say my workspace, select your dash. I will say Power Apps map, so PA map, and the tile was map dash. So once I've done that, you will see something, the smaller version, right? So you got this map. Now, if I click here, I will see something called tile URL. Now this tile URL is automatically populated, right? So it's automatically populated. Now we have to apply dynamic filtering because I don't want to see all my customers throughout the world. Or maybe I want to, but I also want the flexibility to filter it down. Now I have taken an example of 3 different fields. And I've tried, although in Dynamics 365, all 3 of these fields are actually text, but I have tried to create a drop-down for state and city, but postcode is free text, right? So now I'll delete this, and you see I've selected the map at the back, and I'll click here, and I'll show it to you. So basically this bit was auto-populated when you added the tile from Power BI. Now I want to enter dynamic filtering so that I can filter or see records of my choice based on my filters, right? So the first thing I'm saying is the if statement, and then I'm saying is not blank, right? So that's that. Now what I'm saying, if you, minimize it. So I've got a text postcode, I've got a city dropdown, and then I've got state dropdown. And this is a toggle, right? So I'm saying if text postcode text is not blank, then I will apply this filter. Now you need to look at it, that this double quotes closes here, then you put an and then if statement, and then every time you're putting a filter, you need to do this. So ampersand dollar filter equals. The first thing you do here is your table name. So the table is account, so that's why we have said accounts. Which field is it? It's called address one postal code. That's the schema name. And I'm saying is equal to whatever is entered in text postcode. And similarly, I'm doing it for city and state dropdown, except for here. There, I was checking text. Here, I'm saying selected text. So whatever dropdown value it's been selected, dot value. So that's the formula, and that's how it works. Right? Now, if you want to do it just for one field, let's say based on postcode, you will not apply these two, right? Just remember this, that you do this filter, ampersand dollar filter equals, and then you enter the table name, then the field name, and then either equal to or not equal to or greater than GT, LT, LE, GE, IN, anything, right? And then you compare your value, right? That's how we are doing dynamic filters. Now let me play it for you. So if I play it, now let's say I will just make it all blank. So you will see nothing. You see everything. Okay, now I'll select NSW, which is New South Wales, and then I will select Sydney. So I know, so this I've done intentionally, that I've got 3 records, location 1, 2, and 3, or 2, 3, 4 something. In 2 of them, in all 3 of them, I've got New South Wales, Sydney, and 2000. 2000 is a postcode which is in Sydney. But in one of them, the postcode is not Sydney postcode. So if I enter 2000 here, it will only show me 2 records, right? And you can see, if I hover, I can see the name of the account, right? Which is location 2 and 3 in this case. And let me tell you this, what you see here on this pop-up or hover box or whatever it's called, you can actually customize it in your Power BI desktop. So let's say you want to see name of the customer as well as primary contact, as well as mobile phone or business phone or contact, you can do that. But for that matter, you'll have to include another table, which is contacts, and link it, right? Now, if I just delete 2000 from here, I'll again see 3. So that's how you can populate multiple points on your map. It's pretty easy, no code required, just Power Apps formula, and you see everything. Now I've done something else here. If I toggle this button, I actually see these records. So I can see location 3, 2, and 4 along with their primary contacts and their main phone. So this I've done just so that you know. Let me just keep it like that. So if I get out of the play mode and I click here, you can say I have concatenated account name and primary contact name, and that's how I see account name and primary contact. Let me click here. This is just main phone of the account. Well, I think that's all. If you have any questions, do let me know and I'll try to answer them. I hope you like it because this is the shortest way of getting all your customers or contacts or appointments or anything like that on a map. So multiple plots on a map or push pins on a map, although I wasn't able to show the real push pins, but I can see the bubbles, and that's good enough for me. As long as I can see all my customers' locations in a region, that's good enough. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.